Hey yo, what is up guys, just Rick here. Now I've thought long and hard as to whether or not I should explain myself to my recent C9 content hiatus. Who really cares, right? Well, I've been seeing comments on the forums and in my videos that have proven that people truly are in the dark about C9 and its problems. See, the problems in this game are not immediately apparent for new players. Maybe you play for 2 years, and I mean actively play the game, and you start to realize that despite any good news Webzen's GMs tell you, this game is managed terribly. What makes me qualified to say these things with certainty? Well, take a seat, grab some popcorn, close your eyes, and listen to the story of VL volunteer Sir Rick. C9, the game, it's fun. I mean, maybe that's an understatement. I won't lie, it's great and revolutionary for this genre of gaming. Now the publishers, they're fucking garbage. No use kidding yourselves, they are. They have not done a shred of promotion since this game came out. They don't know how to test their game a single bit. Abusive scenes get put in almost every single patch, to the point where temporary maintenance afterwards is almost guaranteed. Our rates are severely nerfed from the other versions of the game without a doubt. There are ninja patches where you are only told a small fraction of the actual patches to the game, such as bug fixes. Often incoherent responses from a GM or PR team that is neither qualified enough to speak on anything related to this game, nor relevant enough in Webzen to even have any say in the company to relay any suggestions you give them. Or maybe you were one of the lucky 0 to have had your issues and feedback actually responded to and solved in a timely manner. That's what I thought. Stupid events not ever worth your time ever doing. Stupid maintenance that happen weekly very often for no reason, and to top it off, our last saving grace, costumes. Yay. At the very least, they've never messed those up. So there's C9 in a nutshell. Quickly summed up as to why nobody can take Webzen as a publisher seriously, no matter how hard the players have been promoting its community. I've been promoting this game non-stop. Now remember, this is only half of the problem. One side of the coin. The other side is the player base, the community. I've always stood on the side of the players, each and every time. I never justified a single thing Webzen ever did. I always sided with what the players felt. After all, it's the players that are playing the game, not anybody at fucking Webzen. This idea carried over to my trip to VL, which if you are unaware, for a large portion of time, I was a volunteer. And no, not a volunteer trainee, I was a fully fledged volunteer. Cool, right? I got a VL tag next to my name, got to edit all forum posts, had access to an exclusive VL lounge, and most importantly to me, had direct contact with a GM at all times. This is what people don't understand. I saw it aplenty in my content hiatus video, where players were angry with me because they stated that Webzen doesn't care about any videos players upload. Of course they don't. I never did any of the videos for their recognition. No, what you've got to realize is that my time spent in the game was much more than just making content. I've answered countless PMs from you guys, reported countless bugs, and trust me, those are indeed countless, and spoke directly with GMs with people's and the game's problems, as well as providing any answers they themselves needed. GMs hired for this game know very little about the actual games themselves, so it was very good that the VLs who were at the very core players could help them out on that front, and trust me, I did. I would pester him at every little opportunity doing my job to ensure that players' voices and problems were heard. I sparked the idea of making a bug submittal form to be open to everyone, although because they didn't want to manage that many bugs, they left it only to the VLs to append to this document. Okay. Now why am I telling you this? Because aside from everything I've just said, there is literally nothing different from a VL and a player. Oh, aside from the fact that I was getting $20 a month to have a tag next to my name. We did nothing else. I literally looked high and low for things to do as a VL. But the best thing of all, I didn't have to tell everyone I was. The same thing cannot be said for VLs these days, who constantly have to remind you. That's assuming if they're even active at all. The second a question was asked, I was there to answer it in PM form, directed only at them. If someone needed help in a dungeon, I didn't say anything. I just went to them and joined their party. The only thing to truly consider is, did I really need a VL tag to do any of that? What was the VL tag for at all? I participated in every test server that they released, in hopes that when I reported the various bugs and suggestions I found, they would listen to at least one of them. Every report I gave, of course, utilized my expertise in videos to show them and provide suggestions. The whole endeavor was a complete waste of time, considering not a single suggestion or bug fix was implemented at all when they put it out officially. In fact, they added even more content that was even in the test server, defeating the purpose of testing at all. I vowed then never to waste another second testing anything for them. What for? Because whether it be the test server or the actual server, Webzen really doesn't care much about the bugs that they have in their game. Bugs that have been in there for months stay on the waiting list despite its severity. Don't think it's true? Well, I've got a perfect example for you by the end of this video. Not that it'd matter much anyway, because you'd never find out, because Webzen has never given any kind of proper patch notes to what they change in their game anyway. I truly begged Seth to host events and shit, and would literally jump at the chance to help them out, whether it be streaming or participating and handing out prizes. I was there for quite possibly every one, and I tried hard to say the least. How many of them were there though? 3? 4? It's a joke considering you were dishing out 20 bones of fake currency to every VL. You would think that their impact would be more palpable, but no. In fact, every one was run by the help of a GM and maybe 3 VLs. What was everybody else doing during these rare occasions? Do you need an entire squad of VLs that you're never going to utilize? What is their purpose even? Now, upon making this video, I realized that after all of this time, the VL have finally decided to host their own PvP tournament themselves. However, again, you have to realize that nothing that they've done so far has to be done by a VL. So again, ask yourself, what do the VLs do? And take it from a veteran VL myself, it's not very much at all. Not much that a nice, normal player wouldn't do already. And yes, I do emphasize the word normal, as this will become much more important later on. Of course, this begs the question, if I claim that the VLs who are talking to the GMs all the time aren't doing anything, then what the hell are the GMs doing all the time, considering that they're never in game? That's a good question. One that I truly couldn't even tell you the answer to, despite all my experience with them. But I can tell you what they're not doing. Signing in and blocking all these spam bots, huh? Shame that the title of GM is going to waste on people who don't even bother signing in to this game. The VL tag pestered me so much. It annoyed me that every time I spoke in chat, it was a reminder to all my false sense of accomplishment. The VL program was, and still is, a failure to this day. Nothing we ever did in there amounted to much of anything. Bugs didn't get fixed, even though they were reported months in advance. Suggestions told the GMs meant nothing at all to whatever Webzen's grand scheme was. And despite the entire VL team trying, and I say trying loosely because rest assured there are many who gave up long ago, it was a wasted attempt. You could try to do everything or do nothing at all and still get paid for it, and I'd be damned if any VL today can tell me otherwise. I didn't want the tag anymore. I wanted it gone, so I left. I wanted to leave much sooner, but I don't think Seth truly grasped how much I truly wanted to. And you're probably wondering, dude, you should have just stayed for the money. In which case I can only say, yep, I must be a complete chump not to, considering you don't do anything and still get W coin. But no, I was not fooling myself or anybody else for any longer. The VL system was then, and still is to this day, useless. And this is where we get to the core, the title of the video. I left because I didn't want to be associated with the jokes that are VLs. Please excuse the harsh words. I did make a lot of friends in VLs, but don't kid yourself or any of the other players acting like you do something for the community. I speak from experience when I say that the only true benefit came from talking to a GM directly. A useless endeavor when you consider not even the GM has any say in fixing bugs or even minor issues without first going through Webzen, who utterly doesn't give a shit. Otherwise, the complaints I listed at the start of the video would have been fixed with the help of the VLs instead of persisted for 2 years now. Take it from a guy who actually has devoted tons of hours into actually doing something for the community. I did it with a VL tag, and I still did even without it. I joined VL for one reason and one reason only, to promote C9 and its community. The second I realized that was not possible through the VL program, I left. but for those who stayed behind, I feel they have learned a new mission, and I tell you, it's not to promote the C9 community. It's for free W coin and status as a VL amongst us normal players. Easy as that. Now this is the story of volunteer Sir Rick and why I left the VL program. Nobody would have even had to hear it if it weren't for a small incident that proved that indeed the VL program and Webzen is just one big joke. Recently, regular player Sir Rick decided to submit a pretty serious bug to the VL bug submittal form I talked about earlier. I of course still had access to it, it's just a form. I input my name, made a video, thought of a potential solution, and put it in. Straightforward, serious, to the point, just as I always have been. Turns out though that the senior volunteer Redux didn't like the fact that regular player Sir Rick was posting in this VL only database and told the rest of the VL to warn me never to do that again. Though, you have to consider, respect is earned, not granted, because you were given a senior title winged. Not a single person, he included, warned me of anything. I was simply told of what the order was by my old VL peers. I didn't care much for what the clown had to say, but I confronted Business Cat directly, because while I may not have been a VL anymore, I have always been there to help out with anything without the need for the title or recognition for it. Information, streams, bugs, I have always been there. He would confirm to me once and for all whether Webzen was worth that effort. To which I quote, "He just wanted to say VL report form is for VLs and wants to draw a little line." Oh wow. Status secured. Obviously it is clear that if the mission of this entire thing were to promote the game, it wouldn't matter who it came from or what name I wanted to put in that damn submittal form. They'd take the bug report to heart and fix it. But instead it's more important to them to know that whoever submitted it is a VL instead of fixing the bug. And to this day, the bug hasn't even been addressed. Like I said, status and free W coin. That's their purpose, not to promote the game. And I'd be damned if any VL can deny this claim. You get nothing done any regular player couldn't already, and get paid for it. I came into the VL systems with high hopes, ready to help and ready for business. But I had to leave because what I got instead was dealings with a bunch of clowns. And that, my friends, is the joke of it all. So there you have it, guys. To answer the question as to why I stopped doing videos, it's very simple. This game is hopeless, and I've given it everything I could to try to make it not so. So instead, I'm just gonna leave it to the VLs to do what us normal players couldn't do themselves. I've tried to lay out everything as it's been on my end. I'll leave it to you to form your own opinions about C9, Webzen, the volunteer program, and everything in general. As for me, you know my decision already. In the background, I'm just gonna leave some discussion I may or may not have had with a few GMs about various topics, in case you thought I may have been fibbing on anything I've said thus far. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.